Now that I have your attention, here's what I want you to do. Sit back, close your eyes, and let Tripp, Elliot, and I take you on a little journey into the dark corners of her mind, a place few even know exists, much less have a chance to experience. You will love it.
Dreams must be heeded and accepted, for a great many of them come true. Attributed to physician-philosopher Paracelsus. Tripp, Elliot. I'm not quite sure how I got here. Actually, I'm not quite sure exactly where here is. There is some strange familiarity, but I can't quite put my finger on it. The last thing I remember is hanging out and watching Netflix with Naya. We both dozed off, and when I woke up, I was alone on the couch. I assumed she just went up to bed and was on my way to my room when I heard a scratching at the front door. It sounded like an animal, but all our dogs were passed out in various locations around the living room. Confused, I opened the front door to find nearly whiteout conditions, not from snow, but from a fog so thick I couldn't see my hand in front of my face, let alone if there was something waiting for me on the porch. It was eerie, the quiet deafening. I couldn't even hear the normal sounds of air conditioning units turning on or off, dogs barking, or even a random car passing. I should have, but I felt no fear. I ventured forward, off the porch, and the house started to disappear behind me. Where I expected to find our walkway, I was met with grass, tall grass, that quickly faded into tall trees. I was in a forest, which didn't make any sense, since we don't live near one. Our subdivision is densely packed homes on tic-tac-sized lots. Woodenly, I turned around, but all I could see were trees. Our house was gone. Our street was gone. What the what? Yet I was not afraid, only confused, really confused. I turned a slow circle, my sense of bearing completely lost. All the trees looked the same, and with no point of reference, I didn't even know where to go. So I went forward, at least I thought it was forward. The fog swirled around me, curling around my ankles like a lover's caress, leaving dewy droplets behind. In just a matter of minutes, my chucks were soaked through and my hair hung in heavy, lank sections, the dampness making it curl wildly. Still, I marched on. It wasn't getting any lighter or darker, just the same unending gray. I was getting tired, and boredom was beginning to override my sense of curiosity by now. Just when I thought about turning back, which was laughable, since I had no idea where back was, I heard someone call me. It was faint, but I definitely made out a woman's voice. I paused and strained to listen, cocking my head to the side like some errant hound of old. There, to my left, I heard her. "Where are you?" I shouted into the mist. Only my echo answered me. I moved off toward where I thought she was, calling out, "Hello?" No response. "Hello?" "Tripp." There. Now it was in front of me, that disembodied voice. A little louder, but still seemingly so far away. I picked up my pace, dodging low-hanging limbs and deadfall on the forest floor. I was getting winded, but I needed to find the owner to that voice. Tinkling laughter sounded to my right, and I changed direction so fast I skidded to my knees. "Slow down!" I raced off in this new direction, certain I heard someone running in front of me. "Hey! Hey, you!" I shouted, jogging as quickly as I could through the close-knit trees. I swore those trees were getting bigger and multiplying the deeper I went. The gray was bleeding away into a black, a darkness that was devoid of any light. Now my heart rate sped up. this feeling all too familiar reminding me of the cloying darkness from when I was dead. I shivered and seriously questioned what the hell was I doing when I heard my name coming from all around me, several voices, all different, calling to me. I was surrounded. Spinning on my heels, I dropped into a defensive crouch, searching in vain for a weapon. The wood littering the floor was rotten and spongy, no use to me. Soft laughter behind me and what sounded like footfalls over dead leaves. They moved away, but still called, luring me with their siren song. I followed, but cautiously, continually scanning my surroundings. In the distance, the trees began to thin and light streamed down. It seemed lighter somehow compared to this bleakness I found myself in, but let's be honest. It was still the same unvarying shade of milky haze I'd first encountered. I paused at the edge of the wood line and stared agape into the clearing. A house that I never expected to see again rose like some leviathan out of the mist. Goosebumps covered my skin, and my heart stilled for a moment before picking up an erratic beat. Again, those voices were calling to me, but now they were in my head instead of all around me. They began chanting my name, softly at first, but with such an increasing power and volume, I nearly dropped to my knees. It was a cacophony that I couldn't turn off. "Stop it," I whispered harshly. I was met with cruel laughter from hundreds of voices that echoed painfully in my head. They whispered to me in a series of discordant sounds, each one overlaying the other.
"Why did you leave us?"
"I didn't leave anybody," I protested loudly.
"Left us, killed us with him."
Again, the intonations were confusing. Different women talking over each other, my head pounding from the effort of trying to understand. "Who are you?" I was nearly crushed under the weight of them. Anger, hatred, rage, sadness, abandonment, emotions that weren't mine were buffeting me from all sides.
"See us!"
They were as loud as a thunderclap in my head, the pain unbearable. Tears of blood leaked from my eyes, black spots that marred the back of my ink-covered hands. I scrubbed my face, trying to clear my vision, as shadowy figures started to rise before me. Slowly, the dark mist coalesced into bodies that hung suspended above the house. Emilio's house. Hundreds of nameless, faceless women that I once knew as numbers surround me. As a single unit, they raised their right arms and pointed at me where I crouched on the ground.
"Betrayer! Murderer! Judas!"
I didn't know. I tried to explain, true fear clogging my throat. The women railed at me, their shrieks of fury and madness exploding as needle-sharp pricks into my brain. "I'm sorry," I croaked as they began to advance on me, crying out their hatred. I lived while they died, trapped in some hellish version of purgatory with their would-be captor and tyrant, Emilio Bassi. Their malevolence was a palpable thing. It hung in the air, surrounding me, smothering me. Their grievance was well earned, even if misplaced. They couldn't attack him, so they made me their target, and my guilt was so great I didn't know how to fight back. And so I lay there on the damp forest floor, the inky black souls of my half-sisters trying their damnedest to drag me down with them so that I, too, could share in their fate. I couldn't even summon the energy to push them from my mind, self-reproach making me weak. I didn't save them, and in truth had forgotten about them. I couldn't save Naya. My life has been one misstep after another, my sins compounding daily, and I was tired. So damn